Hey y'all, it's Angela and welcome back. I have a pretty free weekend, so I thought it'd be fun to do another weekend reading vlog. This weekend though is a little less structured than the previous vlog in terms of like the theme for the books I'm reading. It's really just kind of whatever is kind of calling to me right now. First on the list is a book I started last night, which is People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry. I recently read Beach Read and it was just so good, and I've heard that this second book is actually better than Beach Read, so I'm super excited to start and get through that one. I also want to finish Night Film by Marisha Pessl. I had started this, I think, either last month or May, and I'm like halfway through it, but it kind of got pushed back by a lot of the other books that I had to kind of get through for videos and stuff. I'm honestly not as enthusiastic about this one anymore. It's kind of not really what I was expecting. It's still good, but I think I'll have to update kind of my thoughts as we go along. Another book I've been kind of eyeing is We Are the Ants by Sean David Hutchinson. And knowing me, I'll probably pick up a random audiobook along the way, which I will introduce to you all when that comes up. And it's Friday. I'm excited to get off work, ready to relax. I have a few kind of outdoorsy plans, and I'll probably take y'all along with me so we can explore nature and the contained wilderness that is urban parks. Fun times ahead. I decided to start with Night Film, and quick synopsis of this book. In this world, there is a famous film director. His name is Stanislas Cordova. Stanley Cordova. He basically makes these really messed up movies, and he's really reclusive too, so not a lot of people get interviews with him. They don't know anything about him. His daughter, Ashley Cordova, is kind of equally as mysterious, and one day she turns up dead. It initially looks like a suicide, but kind of people start investigating more into it, and it's just a little bit suspicious. So we follow a journalist. His name is Scott McGrath. He's kind of a disgraced journalist. He had gotten involved with the Cordovas before and it had not gone over well, and so he decides that he's going to use the Cordovas story this time to kind of get himself back out of this journalist prison that he's basically been sent away to. Initially, I'd heard a lot about this book just being good, but not really what it was about, and I didn't quite expect it to be so true crime. And this really reminds me a lot of when I was like reading The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, except this is more kind of in the moment, whereas The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo is more kind of retrospective and like combing through history and piecing things together. And I think in the beginning this book really worked for me. The setup with this really mysterious film director, his crazy and really disturbing works were interesting to learn about. It also is kind of slightly multimedia, as in like in the book itself it'll have like these pages where it's like web pages but in print form. At this point though, I'm like 3/4 of the way through and I'm kind of getting tired of it. The book is so focused on the plot, you don't really connect with the characters as much. So when the plot is really dragging, I'm just like bored, basically waiting for something to happen. And we've had like so many moments where they basically catch a person off guard and go, tell me what you know, and then this person goes to this long spiel of everything they've ever known or heard about Ashley Cordova and the Cordovas in general. It's getting a little bit repetitive at this point, not going to lie. I only have about 150 pages left, so I'm trying to power through it, and of course I want to know like what happened to Ashley Cordova. Yo, this book is wild. We got magic now, like, oh my god, and it's like real. It's also been like an hour and I definitely thought I'd be like almost done by now, but I'm literally in the exact same spot. This book is just, it's like trudging through mud at this point. I'm so ready for it to be done. I think this might be a good point to take a break. Gonna make some late night dinner and probably watch more Bob's Burger. I've been so into that show lately. I've gotten through 2 seasons in like 2 or 3 days. It's a little bit scary, but it's great. I'm loving it, and it sounds like the perfect thing right now. Hello, good morning. Pretty early on Saturday morning. I'm getting started a little ahead of regular programming today just because I have a lot of stuff to get through. So while I make my morning coffee, I wanted to talk about finishing Night Film last night. Again, my coffee very simple, sweetener, oat milk, and drip coffee. So with Night Film, last time I updated, I was kind of saying how like tired of the book I was getting and how I really just kind of wanted it to be over at this point. And I think I still had most of that feeling throughout the rest of the book. It took a different turn than what I was expecting. There were like multiple twists, and not in the traditional suspense twist kind of way. And quite honestly, I know what happens at the end, but I don't really understand the kind of bigger implications of it, and I think it's a little pretentious, which is why I refuse to try to understand more into it. Overall, my thoughts. I think that I'm kind of sick of the regular true crime genre. I think this would be a great reprieve from the usual tropes. However, it didn't personally kind of stick with me as a reader, which is why I probably gonna give this around a 3 stars. My throat hasn't been feeling so hot the past few days, so I like chugged a bunch of like lemon honey water yesterday, and I think I'm gonna get some ginger today so I can make some ginger tea. So this is very, very good. So I'm gonna head out soon, do some errands, grocery shopping, restock my fridge, come back, do boring housework stuff. But when I come back, I think I'll start listening to another audiobook. Maybe I should go for something that I can finish in this vlog. I think that'd be fun. I can give y'all like a full review of the book. So there was a book I was eyeing called The Hole by Byun, and it's about a man who survives a car accident that took his wife's life. It's a dark book, it's pretty short, and it has a really interesting setup. So I think this is the one that I'm going to tackle after I come back. I'm finally done with grocery shopping. That took a lot longer than I was expecting, but no worries. The day is still young. Gonna head back home. So, see you there. And we're back. I'm exhausted, just casually. So I'm gonna listen to The Hole and have a good old time. I do have to say, this book is giving me ominous vibes. I'm not sure if I'm ready for it. It's been a while since I've gone into a book with like such little background, or like I haven't heard a lot of people talk about this. I'll let y'all know how it goes. Finally finished all my chores, and I've also finished The Hole. Very quick read and really a lot creepier than I thought it was going to be. So this book starts with the main character, Ogi. He gets into this almost really fatal car accident where his wife passes away, and he's survives, like just barely though. He's basically completely paralyzed. He can't speak. His mother-in-law brings him home and kind of becomes his everything at this point, because they are the only family they have with each other. And this book kind of tells the story of Ogi's life, his marriage, kind of the events that led up to the accident, and also how they've all affected his relationship with his wife as well as with his mother-in-law. And it's so unsettling and interesting because every character in this book is kind of unlikable. This is a book of just very unlikable people, yet there's still this very much sense of like scared, like kind of unease that you read through it. It's not jump scare horror, but definitely you will feel completely uneasy reading this book. It reminded me a little bit of Misery by Stephen King, in the same sense that you have, you know, a person who's really trapped by an injury and a very suspicious caretaker. I think it's interesting how Ogi is such a contradictory character. Like, he goes on and on about all these things that he hated about his own father and his mother, and then kind of those character traits show up in his own life later on, and he criticizes his wife for her, like all these faults that she had, but like while at the same time kind of suppressing the absolute horrible trash pile that he is. It's not super thrilling and it's kind of light on the suspense, so I wouldn't go into it thinking that you're gonna have like an action-packed short story, but it's very good like suspense literary fiction. I'm not sure what to read next though. I think I might take a little break from reading and work on editing my June wrap-up video, and then maybe after that start We Are the Ants. And I also have some ginger tea going, so I'll show you one of my favorite kind of sore throat remedies. So there's one remedy that I've kind of like lived by, sworn by, use basically for any time I don't feel my best, and that is making really strong ginger tea. And so what I usually do is I'll cut up like a lot of ginger, like honestly like too much ginger, and put it in boiling water, boil it for a bit, and then mix it with honey and lemon, and it's delightful. It burns in the best way, and I usually, you know, chug a few cups of that, and the next day, boom, instantly better. So I'm gonna go ladle my ginger tea acquired, and then I take half a lemon. I do like sour things a lot, so I'll take my half a lemon and just like, oh my gosh, I don't have one of the lemon squeezers, so it's literally going everywhere. So that's why I use half. It's because I waste half of it. That's good stuff. To go along with that, I think I'll have my last egg tart. I got this from 85 Degree Bakery. It's so good. I love going there for egg tarts, and I'm gonna heat this bad boy up. She's looking a little disheveled, but she's all heated up. My nice tea. And I'm gonna go start editing.
Not bad at all, guys. It's not even liquid. I'm willing to bet that these will taste even better tomorrow.
I was just watching the new Delish video, and high-key watching June make all that food has like really inspired me. So I'm gonna go all out for dinner. I even made like a dinner plan. There's a game plan going into this. So I think I'm gonna do like a vegetable pancake situation with some green onions and cabbage I have left over. I'm going to make a soup with like some tofu, some mushrooms, maybe some of the fentiao, or I think potato starch noodles, maybe that's what they're called, with that. And then I'm also going to toss together a little salad because I really need to use up some romaine that I had. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to start listening to We Are the Ants, which I found on Scribd, so yay. I'll start this one, and I forgot that I was reading People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry, so I'll get started on this book for an audiobook, and then I think tonight tackle People We Meet on Vacation. Alright, my strange mishmash of dinner, salad, the pancakes, they really fell apart. And then still, what's dinner without a little dessert? I wanted to taste test this new gelato thing I got. It's supposed to be tiramisu flavored, which I guess just means they're gonna put a little bit more like coffee flavor instead of the usual like caramel or chocolate twist. So hopefully we'll get a little bit of that espresso goodness from tiramisu. And I also figured while I'm taste testing this, I'd update you on how I'm kind of feeling about We Are the Ants so far. While prepping dinner, I got through about 5 chapters of the book, and it is about our main character, Henry. He is a high schooler, and he has like, since was 13, I think, he's been regularly abducted by this group of aliens. and they always return him, and no one believes him, obviously, that when he says he's been abducted by aliens. But one night they show him that the world is going to end in 2016, and they give him this button and they go, you have the power if you press this button to stop the world from ending, but like, we're gonna give you 100 days, 100 or so days to consider if you really want to stop the world from ending. Ooh, that is very interesting. Look at that. That is dark. Oh, that's like straight up espresso. Actually, yeah, no, that's straight up espresso powder on top. Okay. First taste test. Yeah, that's pretty good. Would recommend. Henry does not have a great home or school life. At home, I think his parents are divorced. His dad's like completely left. Henry's brother is also kind of an asshole. And at school, he is known as Space Boy because his brother was like telling everybody that my brother claims he got abducted by aliens. So Brother of the Year award goes to Charlie. Henry is also gay, and his last boyfriend Jesse committed suicide pretty recently, so he's still kind of trying to work through the emotions from that. And that event also really weighs heavily on his mind when he considers like his ability to stop the Earth from being destroyed in about 100 days. So far, I like the setup, but I'm still warming up to the like characterization style, the writing style. Everyone is very much like grumpy, angsty high schooler vibes, and Henry is like at the forefront of that. Like, he's doesn't have a lot to be happy about, but we're just introduced to this new guy. I think his name was Diego, and I have a feeling that he's gonna be interesting in bringing out some new sides to Henry. I should have taken a picture of the gelato, because now that I've like eaten through half the top, the nice swirl is all gone. I'm back from my walk. It unexpectedly took 2 hours. This really nice trail. This is my first time going there, so that was fun. And on the way, I was going to kind of get further into We Are the Ants and continuing to listen to the audiobook, and I got through chapter 9. I'm having a bit of a hard time getting into the audiobook, and I don't know if this is like a weird problem, but sometimes if I'm listening to an audiobook and there's like a really unlikable character, like a character with kind of an annoying to me like voice, it's so hard to listen to it on audiobook compared to like when I'm reading it physically. Listening to their thoughts and actions kind of vocalized makes it like 1,000 times worse for some reason. So that's kind of happening to me as I'm listening to Henry and his perspective. Henry's obviously got a lot on his plate. He's kind of confused. His overall pessimism is kind of starting to weigh down on me a little bit, but I'm having a better experience reading People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry. I'm currently on chapter 9. This book follows Poppy and Alex, and they've been friends since college, and they had this thing go on every summer where they would take a trip, and it was always like the highlight of their year. They would like plan for it for a long time. They would always talk about it, and then something happened 2 years ago that like ruined their friendship, and like they haven't talked since. And Poppy has just not been happy. Like, she can't remember the last time she was happy before that trip that she took with Alex. Alex's brother is getting married, but she's going to turn that into an opportunity for her and Alex to take a vacation in Palm Springs like they did before. It's got that really smart, witty banter that I've come to love from Emily Henry, and I haven't gotten as into this as I did with Beach Read, like straight from the get-go. Something about like friendship to lovers doesn't work for me as well as kind of like enemies to lovers. I'm going to finish editing my June wrap-up post, and after that they continue in People We Meet on Vacation. And we've uploaded. If you haven't checked out my June wrap-up, make sure to do that. I'll have that linked probably here-ish in the cards. but exciting. So instead of reading, I decided to make some kimbap. I'm literally never gonna finish either of these books. It's going like the back and forth thing, like the past and the present point of view, which is something that I have discovered I really don't like in books. Everything's just going so slowly. I'm like a third of the way through. It's just such slow burn, and I honestly feel like not much is happening right now. I don't feel like I'm getting a ton of the vacation-y part of like the travel aspect, nor am I getting really anything from the romance part. Like they're building their relationship, but it's just so tepid right now. Nothing feels like it's drawing me in. I'm gonna persevere though. If nothing, I'm going to finish this book today. So I'll sit with my kimbap, sit down for a long time, and try to get through People We Meet on Vacation. Hallelujah, I finally finished People We Meet on Vacation. Wow, that was a journey. And honestly, I don't really think I was enjoying myself up to about like 85% of the book. Something about the combination of having like a friends to lovers and then also combining that with the past and present jump kind of thing really did not just sit right with me. What really got me though was that both Poppy and Alex had a lot of like individual character growth. Like they had to work out their own stuff. They sought professional help. I love the mention of that in the book. Sometimes you can't do it on your own, so it's great that it's explicitly mentions that they went to see like a therapist to talk it out. And I really like the message at the end of, you know, Poppy coming to realize what was really holding her back from her relationships in the past, her understanding more about her goals as well as her relationship with Alex and how it's gotten to this point so far. So I think overall this book had a lot more complexity in terms of really building the character's history. Like these two have such a rich history and a very complex relationship that has evolved a lot over their lives, and so I think that is definitely like a step up above Beach Read. But I think the setup for Beach Read for me was definitely more intriguing and engaging, and I really fell in love with those characters more than I did with Poppy and Alex's story. So I'm sitting at like a 3.5. I might go up or down depending on my mood. I might let this book kind of stew a little bit, but that's where I'm sitting at the moment. And it is also nearing Sunday evening, so I'm going to wrap up the vlog here. Let's do a little wrap up. I never have my books with me when I'm doing these wrap-ups. Then I'll have to fucking leave it. So first I finished Nightfall by Marisha Pessl. I gave this a 3 stars. I think that it's very complex and very deep and layered for being kind of like a suspense true crime type of book, but I didn't love the way that it was told. I didn't connect a lot with the characters' stories, and I thought it was honestly kind of pretentious, especially near the end, but that's, you know, opinions. Next, I finished The Hole by Hae Young Pyun, and it was a pretty like unexpectedly good kind of creepy horror type. It was just really unsettling and a nice short read. And the last book I finished was People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry. This one I'm giving 3.5. I think I liked Beach Read better, but I can definitely see the growth and the complexity in this book. So thanks for sticking around for another vlog. If you're interested in more book content from me, I'll have my Instagram, Goodreads, and Storygraph linked in the description, and I would love to be friends with y'all on there. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.